Well, as the height of the summer season is here, state officials want to remind drivers to be mindful of pedestrians, bicyclists, as well as motorcyclists on North Dakota roadways. Now, pedestrians and those on a bike, they are at a greater risk when involved in a vehicle crash as they don't have the same protection of an actual vehicle. According to the North Dakota Department of Transportation, in 2023, there were 10 pedestrian deaths and 16 motorcycle deaths in North Dakota. Now, as of July 19th this year, there have been 2 pedestrian deaths and 7 motorcycle deaths in total.